I just heard about the Trump thing. I got to welcome Steve to the club. First and foremost, that's kind of par for the course there. We've obviously been really outspoken since I can remember in terms of our organization and all that. But from the league and China and just our presence there, the way that we've been building the business, it's an interesting situation because there's so much history involved in it, and I don't know that history well enough to kind of speak on it or to form an opinion yet. So that's kind of where I'm at with the situation. But obviously, I know following up to date with how the league's handling it. Adam Silver and the reaction within China. So I'm staying tuned like everybody else.
Steph, what's it like to be called out by the president?
It's weird just because I figured he'd have other things better to do at this time, but those kind of conversations you hope are just productive, and that whatever the issue is or the narrative or whatever it is, that hopefully the general and the majority reaction is people figuring out a solution to what we're talking about or having productive conversations beyond just throwing words and 140 character tweets at people. So it is what it is.
You obviously have a relationship where you go out to China. With Under Armour, do you know if that, as you do get educated more, do you think that'll be something that keeps going on for you?
I'm not sure. I've done it for the last 6 years, and honestly, I've enjoyed my times there. So, that's been a big part of my kind of summer routine and my experience. And like I said, I've enjoyed it. But other than that, I don't know how to affect that at all at this point.
Did you ever feel unsafe when the president called you out by name for what he was with?
A little bit. At that point, it was still kind of new, I guess, from his standpoint of how active he was and calling people out and that kind of vibe, and me being caught up in that back in 2016. But at this point, I don't know how a coach reacts or anybody else who gets called out like that. So you just keep doing what you're doing for the most part.
Have you followed the NBA statements out of some kind of press conference? What have you kind of thought about the NBA's current response?
Not specifically. I've read it, and to be honest, I'm not dodging the question. It's literally I've had other stuff going on in my personal life, so I need to literally sit down and something this big that involves the entire landscape of the league and the importance of a country like China. Like, that's something you don't want to. You're not just walking into kind of lightheartedly just saying stuff off the cuff. How we have approached every situation that we've been in. You're educated and you understand what your point of view is, and you stick to it. So I don't want to have to go back and forth on that.
News cycle works with all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You guys make sure that it doesn't become a distraction for what you want to do heading into the season.
I think we all have a good barometer of how to focus on basketball when we need to, and we obviously understand that this is a business. This is about growing the game, not only domestically but internationally, and the opportunity that's out there across multiple, many countries, including China. So this is going to affect people, and we're going to have to figure out how you kind of walk in the future what this means. But at this point, there's nothing really to kind of go on. It's really fluid, I guess you should say. Oh, and 0 basketball questions. We do play a game tomorrow against the Minnesota Timberwolves, so if you want to come out to Chase Center and watch us play, that would be awesome too. I'm sure there'll be plenty more things to talk about outside of basketball, but yeah, I'm wearing a basketball jersey, so it's pretty cool. Thank you. Oh, man, this training camp's been awesome. It's been great. We've been really working hard on trying to put in some sets and get familiar with each other and continue to get better. So, we're trying to get, in a position where we're feeling confident what we're doing out there on the floor. And tomorrow is another opportunity to enjoy Chase Center, enjoy our fans, play basketball, and do what we do. So I'm excited about tomorrow for sure.
Seemed like Steve was tamping down expectations a little bit when he was here. We haven't had a year like this since the first year. He said this is totally different. We've got a long way to go, and all those are kind of about this season. We're going to work our way through it.
That was the PC answer. He's in our practices. He's fired up. I mean, obviously the narrative has changed in terms of us not being the favorites, but outside of that, we know who we are, what we're about, and he has that same fire. He almost broke a clipboard yesterday in practice, so don't let him fool you. Our expectation is to win, is to compete at a very high level, and that started, obviously over the summer, but last week when we all showed up as a team. So that's the mindset we have for sure.
Is it different being that in the past few years you guys were almost expected to win the championship, and now almost nobody does expect you to win the championship? Is that different for you guys at all?
I mean, a little bit. We know what it was like before 2015, so it's not anything new in the sense that we never experienced it before. But everybody's careers, they have different opportunities and narratives and storylines that you walk into every year. At the end of the day, it's about what you do on the floor and letting it speak for itself. So that's the exciting part, what we get to do. Whether it's wherever anybody picks us, or how the season starts. It's an 82-game marathon, and we got to be of the mindset that we're going to continue to get better throughout the year. But what we do shouldn't surprise anybody.
Is it fair to even try to have the same expectations now?
Say that again.
Is it fair to,
Oh.
to have the same expectations you had in the past with the team you had before?
I mean, when you got a guy like Jordan Poole, I mean, the expectation should be through the roof, right? Right? Ain't that right? You know you want to say yes. I think people enjoy it, being in this situation where we have such a high bar and the banners that we've had, and us being in the position we've been in the league, to kind of try to recreate that. Obviously, you want to do it the way that fits our team and the pieces that we have, but playing for a franchise that's won and knows how to win and has had as part of the core and leaders that have been in that for the last 5 years, like, that's got to be exciting for anybody to show up here and be ready to play. So that's the vibe I'm getting, not sense of like being overwhelmed or scared or anything like that about what it means to be a Warrior, for sure.
What are the adjustments like for you going from Noah or Sean or KD? These guys are going to be on the court versus the guys that you're really trying to figure out where they're going to be.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I think me and Draymond talked about it in the first preseason game. I mean, for 5 years, you take for granted maybe like, swing, who's in the corner. Look at Andre, you know what he's going to do. You got Sean underneath the basket. You got Klay in the corner. You got me coming off a pick and roll. You got KD, posted up doing what he's doing. ISO, getting a bucket no matter who's guarding him. Like, all those type of things, you just have a rhythm and a flow and an expectation. We have to recreate that. And I think it just provides an edge for us, myself, Draymond, Loon, Jacob, who've been here, to kind of lean into that and have fun with that new process, because there's nothing stale about what we're doing now and the opportunity we have. So and even D'Angelo's been great so far, and communicating things he sees and what he's comfortable doing and how he can work off of us and vice versa. So it just creates an edge that I think we're going to enjoy.
D'Angelo, the other night, to adjust to your guys' fast pace. How much is it on you guys also to kind of rearrange, maybe your pace a little bit, the way he plays? He's a little bit more prodding.
I think the majority of it is be who you are. Be the player that has gotten you to this point within, and then you just kind of fine-tune it to work within the system that we have. So I think he might have felt a little uncomfortable at times in the preseason game, the first one, where, I got the ball, I come down, pick and roll, swing, and he catches it, and he, plays to his strengths of being able to size up the defense, figure it out. And I told him Like, be you. Like, you don't got to be anybody else but yourself. And I would tell that to anybody else on our team. So however he sees himself, impacting the play on that possession, do it. But he'll develop the mindset of how we create our offense and get more comfortable with it. But he still has to be himself because there's no other D'Angelo but D'Angelo. So, that's why he's here.
Draymond was making that new height listings. How do you feel about the new rule?
That's why I grew my hair out.
Oh, that's why you grew your hair out?
I knew that rule was coming.
Gotcha. So how do you feel, about that going forward? I'm sure
it's more for the fans than it is for the players. Like, I don't think that Draymond feels any different as a player with his actual listing. I'm sure wherever KD is, he's not feeling the same different about not being 6'9" anymore. So all that stuff's just more for the fans and understanding what it's like to maybe if you walk on the floor, like how truly big and tall guys are. But it doesn't really. It's more just another thing to talk about.
How tall are you on a good day?
Without shoes, I'm officially 6'2"3/4. But you don't play basketball without shoes. And I don't play basketball without this frozen. I think I might be 6'4" now. There you go.
Steph, how odd is this preseason schedule? You're playing Minnesota tomorrow, but then it's the Lakers the rest of the way. What are your thoughts on the Lakers so many times in Minnesota?
I mean, it's what it is. Play 5 games. We really have to focus on ourselves. We obviously will know the Lakers very well, but the travel schedule is nice for us to really take advantage of practice days here. Really go hard, be able to recover. You only got 2 flights to LA and back, so that's nice. And we just got to enjoy these next 2 weeks in a day, 15 days before we lace them up for real. So I like the fact that it gives us an opportunity to really focus on what we're doing from an X's and O's standpoint and being able to take advantage of training camp.
What's it going to be like to see Jordan Bell in another uniform?
It's always weird. Every year you see guys, change scenes and teams, and be good to see him. Obviously, hopefully he has a long career ahead of him, but it'll be weird for sure. So still keep that same J Bell swag that he had here, just with the Minnesota Timberwolves jersey on.
How was it to play with him?
It was amazing. I mean. Got a ship, and I think he just, in terms of his athleticism and the way that he can make himself, known out there on the floor with his energy and the speed and blocking shots. And my favorite game is just when he came in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago against the Rockets, and made some really, savvy plays that helped us get over the hump in that third quarter. Help us win that game. So definitely was a huge piece of that team, and you wish him the best in his next chapter.
I want to go back to that elephant in the room. You've been so outspoken about so many different issues over the last few years. With what has occurred now in China, what continues to happen, and what's happened now in real time with Steve and the president, will you rethink what you want to say publicly on certain issues?
No, I think this one it's a league-wide situation, and our presence in China, it's just a different conversation, I think, than what we have normally, coach talking about gun violence or gender equality or things that for us is being spokespeople for people who can't speak for themselves within our communities, that makes a huge impact. This situation is a huge weight and gravity to it, and there's going to be some things that need to be sorted out. But I just don't know enough about Chinese history and how that's influenced modern society today, and that interaction to speak on it. So that's just where we're at, and I'm sure this is not going away. So we'll come back to it.
Great.